Next, let's create a simple controller together. Here I have a model in my scene. I've already changed its name according to our naming convention. Creating a controller involves a few steps. Let's go through them step by step. First, we need to create a NURBS curve. We can go to Create, find NURBS, find Circle. We'll create a circle. We can scale the circle up a bit here. This way we can ensure the circle is outside the model, making it easier for us to select the controller later. Next, we need to freeze transformations to reset the scale to its default. Then, we need to delete its history, because we have two pieces of history here. One is the preset information from creating the NURBS curve shape. The other is the history from freezing transformations. So how do we do this? We select the NURBS curve, then in Edit, find Delete by Type, History. We can see there's a hotkey for it, Alt plus Shift plus D. We need to be careful here. Don't choose Delete All by Type, History. Why? Because Delete All by Type History will delete the history for all objects in the scene. But at this stage of rigging, some history need to be kept. For example, the model will have skin cluster info later and deformer information. These are all part of our rig. We don't want to delete them. So if we choose Delete All by Type History here, we might accidentally delete history information we wanted to keep. That's obviously not what we expected. So let's build a good habit. If we need to delete history, we must select our object and use Delete by Type History, or our hotkey. Select our curve, Alt plus Shift plus D, and we'll have deleted the history. Next, we'll rename it. Okay, we've named it Ctrl+C Cube 0001. Then we need to group it. We'll name it 0C Cube 0001. Then we move it to the position we want. In our previous exercises, we've also used zero groups. A zero group is used to preserve the offset values, because we don't want to move the controller directly and then freeze transformations. We'll explain the specific reasons for this in more detail in a bit. Okay, now we've moved the controller to the position we want. Next, we need to change the controller's color. Because right now, the controller is the default darkish color. So we select the controller. We have two ways to do this. One way is we can check shapes in the display menu, and then find the shape node. Or we can press Ctrl+A to go to the attribute editor. You'll see tabs at the top. Next to the transform tab, we'll find the shape node. Then we need to go into the attribute editor, find object display, then drawing overrides. We check enable overrides, and then we change the color. There are two ways to change the color. One is to use these preset colors. As we can see, when I move this, slide this slider, it will show different colors. For example, if I use a bright green, it will display as bright green. Or we can change to use RGB. This way, we can manually input. For example, I'll use a yellow. By adjusting these values, I can get a wider range of color options. It just depends on our personal preference. To keep it simple, I'll just use its preset colors. I'll use a bright green. And with that, the color is set. Last, we'll use the controller to connect to the model. Based on previous exercises, we should be very familiar with this. We create a group, and this group we'll call it trans. Then we use the controller to create a parent constraint on this group. Turn off maintain offset. Then we put the model inside. This way, we can control the model by moving and rotating the controller. So that's the process for creating a controller.